Hi guys. Okay, so I am so happy because once again it's a very good news, and we are always happy when it comes to good news. So we know a lot of countries have been facing like all these shortage skills, and they are trying to develop a way to, because of COVID, so there has been like some shortage in these areas, and they have been trying to develop a way to make it a bit easier for people outside the country that are looking for job in their country to be able to get these job opportunities. We have seen that in Ireland, which developed like critical skill occupation list. We have also seen like Canada, UK, as well as Denmark, that has as well developed positive list, New Brunswick critical occupation list, and also UK trying to like develop as much visa pathway as possible to help bridging the gap in that particular occupation shortage. So Australia is not also left behind. And when we talk about Australia, I know that most of you will be like, oh no, their visa process is so long and I cannot really bear with that. I mean, it's so long, you can use those months of waiting to do other stuff or go to other country. That of course is well known about Australia, like they have a lot of backlog, and that is why the government made a huge change on this, and that is what we are going to talk about today. And of course, not just about this, but as well I will give you tips about this visa pathway. I will also tell you how you can go about it, and of course I will also give you the job list or the job links or where you can find job and start your application process. So you might want to stick to the end of this video, especially if your occupation falls under this, so that you get all the necessary information for you to start your relocation. Hi guys, welcome to Next Step with Cherry. So if today is your first time seeing my beautiful face, thank you so much for choosing Cherry, and you might want to subscribe to my channel, because here I talk about Europe, I talk about relocation, I talk about anything at all that is going to make your relocation to be a little bit easier for you. And you can also recommend my channel to your friends that are looking to move to Europe or any other country. And you can as well, if you need any information at all, you can just go to my playlist on YouTube. You will see like a lot of countries that I've covered, and then you can find the country or destination that you want to go for, and then you see if the video I've made video about that. So you guys can just check it out. And also you can try to follow me on my Instagram page, because I post a lot of information that might be a little bit helpful for your relocation journey. So without wasting much of our time, let us go straight to what we have. So let's say it's about 16, not up to 24 hours ago, the Australia immigration made major changes on their visa process and prioritization. So when it comes to all the skilled workers, temporary skilled workers, or permanent whatever visa process, there has been a lot of backlog, and they are trying to like prioritize like business innovators, and they are trying to prioritize like those people that go to Australia through investment. So they're prioritizing the assessment of their visa, and now they are also prioritizing some particular occupations, and like chefs, they mentioned that they have been prioritizing occupations like chefs, like accountants, like psychiatrists, and programmers and pharmacists. So these are the occupations that they have been prioritized, and then they realize that prioritizing these occupations make other occupations that are really important in Australia to have a huge critical shortage, and that is what they are trying to bridge. And then these occupations are really in lack and like in demand. So but the problem is because they are not on that they are not on the first list. I mean, they are not on the list for Australia to like assess first, so that makes it to have a lot of backlog, and people are now moving to countries that have easier visa process for them. So that also made them to like make major changes. So the immigration officer was like, since these occupations are really in demand, there is no need of doing all the process of assessment. So it's just for you to make sure that all the necessary documents are there, and then we try as much as possible to review the visa in 3 days. So I know that what you'll be asking right now is, what are the occupations that are available here? So when we talk about these occupations, you will also think about it, and you see that a lot of countries are really making changes in these occupations, and one of them is healthcare workers. So number one is healthcare workers. In almost all countries that we've covered, we see that healthcare workers are among like the top list, and we are talking about registered nurses, we are talking about doctors, we are talking about psychiatrists, we are talking about a lot of healthcare workers. Like it's generally like healthcare workers. So the Australian government is also trying to like bring more nurses, more doctors, or more healthcare workers to Australia, or for them to like choose Australia first because of the easy visa that will start, like the 3 days visa. Because if you're now choosing UK and choosing Australia, I mean, you reason the money and you reason the visa process. Okay, UK is probably going to take like 1 month or 2 months, and then here Canada is going to take forever, and then Australia is going to take 3 days. So you might just choose Australia, right? So that is also what they are trying to do, because a lot of people are now choosing those easier visa countries. And then the second occupation is teachers. So a few days ago, we also saw that UK made a major change on teachers that would want to move to UK, and that is like providing a visa pathway from February for these teachers. So because now I remember when I made an interview with the guy in Australia. You guys can check on my playlist, just check Australia and you'll see the interview. So the guy was mentioning like the shortage occupation in Australia, and what shocked me was that the number one he mentioned was teachers. He said that when he arrived in Australia, he realized that teachers are really in demand, and what is very crazy is that their salary is like 80,000 to 100,000 Australian dollars for a year. Do you know how much that is? Calculate that and say that it's really huge. So if you are a teacher, primary school, secondary school, university lecturer, or you are a business college teacher, then it is time for you to consider Australia. So of course, some of like some types of teachers might be like need authorization or any other thing, but now that recruitment companies know that this visa is 3 days, of course they will also try as much as possible to help bring workers, because company or schools pay these recruitment companies, and it is now left for them, since they have the knowledge about the immigration. So it is now left for them to like employ someone that is well experienced, and then help the person out with any other thing that the person might need. So I think because this news is already on LinkedIn, so that means that a lot of recruitment companies have as well seen all this. So you can also try as much as possible. I will also keep some links on the description, and also you can also make some research on LinkedIn, on Indeed, through Glassdoor, because I really see a lot of visa sponsorship job, jora.au, seek.au. You can also check all this. I'm just going to keep the links for jobs on the description so that you can go there and check. So if you're a registered nurse, there is something that I would want to tell you, because you know, like Australia need registration. You have to register with the AHRCN or something before you can practice in Australia. I'm going to recommend a YouTube channel for you, and this YouTube channel, this lady has registered herself in Australia and New Zealand even without being in Australia and New Zealand, and she has gotten a job. And she was also talking about how they are looking for a lot of nurses, and people are moving from UK to Australia because I mean they treat their nurses a little much better, and the pay is also probably much good, because people are really moving. And then most of them will also, like, after 1 year they will give you permanent residency. Yes, after 1 year they will give you permanent residence, and some of them is immediately as you apply. You are also applying for permanent residence, because the prioritizing of these two occupations is not just about ordinary visa. So if your employer say that they want you as a nurse to move to Australia and work for them, and they're going to provide you with permanent residence, what that means is that once you are accepting the contract, they are on the process of working with your permanent residence application, and that also is included in the 3 days. So you're probably gonna get your permanent residency in 3 days. So I think that is a very good opportunity for you to also consider this Australia. So I'll leave her YouTube channel on the description. You guys can just go and check and see how to register yourself in Australia or even New Zealand. She made a video about it step by step with the memo on her laptop, and then she like explained everything, how to send your document, what to send, how to upload, all those things. So you guys can as well check it. And if you're a registered nurse, you can as well try to see, if you're a teacher, you can also try to see if it is like regulated in Australia, and then you see like how to apply for it so that you also be a certified teacher in Australia. So now is also the time, if you are considering moving to Australia for study, maybe you can also consider healthcare worker and teaching area, because it seems like they really prioritize these two occupations at this moment, because that will probably help you to get your PR easier. And if you're already a registered registered nurse, you don't want to go through the hassle of finding jobs or blah blah blah, you want to go through study pathway, then it's also time for you, just a 1 year master's or 1 year top up, and you get yourself registered and start practicing in Australia. So without much talk, these are the two occupations that are mentioned to be prioritized, like to start to be prioritizing and be given like 3 days visa. So if you fall under these occupations, congratulations, it is now time to consider Australia. Thank you so much, guys, for watching till here. And if you like this video, please like this video and also share with your friends. Recommend to your friends that are also in this occupation and looking for opportunity in Australia.